So, Gaffer, it's a quick turnaround. How important is it to have a game quickly after a game, especially after a defeat like Saturday?
Who knows, but I'm personally pleased that we have got a game, because you want to try and get back out there and I would say put things right. I think it's more just try and get a positive result. I've openly said, and probably the last 3 games I felt like I've had similar interviews after each game, and I know some people will look at it objectively and others it's simply about results, because that's what gets you the points and moves you up that table, and at the minute we're certainly not as high up as we all want to be. So from that point of view, like I said, really pleased that we've got a game, we're at home, we've got to try and take advantage of that and see if we can get back to winning ways.
And again, Saturday was a game of good spells and good moments. How do you turn those good spells and good moments into a more sort of full-on performance?
It's putting the ball in the net and, one way or another stopping the opposition from being as clinical. Now that's not easy because it's twofold. There might have been 1 or 2 goals where we could have done better in terms of some aspects of defending. But I think within the games there's been a couple of goals that have been genuinely unfortunate. But the main thing, I think, what we keep saying is about just being more clinical. It's not like we're not scoring any goals, but I think in terms of the chances created, we're not taking as many as what we need to, and not at important times. I think we just seem to be going through one of those spells where things don't seem to be sort of falling for us. I watched the Issa sending off, I guess, is the latest sort of decision that's gone against us. Wanted to watch it for peace of mind that I hadn't seen something and was making a story up that wasn't true, and I've watched that back and I don't see how it's never a sending off. But one thing we touched on as a group after the game is there's no point feeling sorry for ourselves. We've got to do all we can that we can control to try and take all those things out of it. They can influence games, of course they can, but at the same time, like I said, I don't want anyone coming feeling sorry for themselves. We move on, we try and put it right, and still of the opinion that there's a good team there, but we know that probably the players included all need some results to keep that self-belief and back that up.
What is confidence like? 'Cause it must be a bit difficult to go again when it's, like I say, it's been good, just not quite fully there and the wrong side of the look of it. Is it difficult to keep confidence, or are the players quite good with that?
I think it's a newish group that's probably going through this for the first time. I'm sure that most of the players in there will have experienced something similar throughout their careers, but not together, not under, I guess, at Grimsby and under our management and relationships with staff, all of those things. But from my point of view, they seem okay, but the longer anything goes on, it can become harder to get out of. We talk about, you see it lots of times with teams going on runs, positive and negative, so we've got to try and put a halt to that as soon as possible, so it doesn't become something bigger than what it is at the minute.
And how's the squad looking? Any ill effects after Saturday, or any players coming back?
As far as I'm aware, we're all good. I haven't had any messages this morning in terms of anyone being injured from the weekend, which is a positive, because again, when things aren't quite going well, sometimes you seem to lose players. But yeah, as far as I'm aware, all available and ready to go. I think obviously Cam will come back into the squad after serving his 1-game suspension. So positive on that side.
And looking at Barrow, sort of in 10th place, coming off the back of a good win against Doncaster, what do you sort of expect from them?
Well, similar to last season, they've started the season well. Very strong defensively. They've got the joint best defensive record in the league. And as you said, they got back to winning ways after a few games without getting the results they'll have wanted. But I think very sort of well organised, good energy in the middle of the pitch certainly, and good options at the top end. I know Jamie Proctor was missing at the weekend, not quite sure on that one, but other lads, Ben Whitfield coming back into it in terms of an attacking player as well. They've got a good squad. You know, I think they've done well to build since they're returning to the league, and are looking to becoming a very good established League Two team.
Now we've moved into October, it's a new month. Do you put sort of targets month by month, or is it just a sort of cliche of game by game?
No, I think other than we've got boards up in the office which will plan us months out, so you see the games that are up there. But in general, I'm not big on that. I think you can get either ahead of the total very quickly or behind, and so that's never been kind of my way of doing things. I think what we did look at was last month, looking at the board and the fixtures, it looked really tough right from the start, and kind of in general proved that way in terms of where teams are in the league so far now they've started the season. This looks a little easier in general, but we all know there's no kind of real easy games, or you're very lucky if you have an afternoon where everything goes for you. So we've got to keep working hard, try and keep the positive aspects of performance, but be more clinical, and hope that we can stop the goals going in as they have. Albeit, again, if I look at the ratio there of Jake's saves and the amount of attempts on goal to what teams have scored, it's sort of very heavily weighed in the opposition's favour. So maybe we aren't doing too much wrong, but like I said, maybe going through that spell where we're getting punished.
And how do you be more clinical? Is it maybe a little bit of confidence issue, or?
I think confidence, composure at times. But one thing's for certain is you've got to keep getting in those areas to make the chances keep arriving. So from that point of view, you've got to, sort of be positive with the players in terms of do a lot of the right things to get to that point. Practice on the training ground, but in fairness, the lads always do. It's very rare that you don't have a training session where at the end of it a number of players are doing finishing. So ultimately it's about delivering when it matters. A positive from the weekend was the way Donovan took his goal. I thought that was excellent, a great turn to start with, an excellent composure, because he just passed the ball into the net. We'll see if other players can take those opportunities and move forward. That's what we need to do, to put a lot of what I feel is some good football before that, to get the rewards of it.